Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's Dr. Jan Fortman with Relationship Matters TV. I hope everyone is having a beautifully blessed morning, afternoon, or evening. Well, we're here right outside of Chicago, and I had asked this question. What state can you be in, or would you be in, if you had two seasons in one day? Well, one of the states is Illinois. So the other day, it was 50 something degrees. And then at night, it went down to 31. So it was not even spring, it was fall. And then it was winter. Well, anyway, today is a great day. Today is a beautiful day to be alive. And I'm very excited about my guest. Now, first, I want to give you a little history where I met my guest. I met her in Africa. Yes, you just never know who you might meet, and you never know what relationships will come out of it. And what's the title of this show? Relationship Matters, because there are all kinds of relationships and all kinds of relationship matters. And so I want to bring to you this wonderful young lady that I met in Africa. Ah, she was on in the same tour that I was on, the same group that I was in, and we struck up a friendship. We struck up a relationship. So let me bring her on.
There she
Hello.
is. Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Dr. Jan. And I love that you said that young lady.
Of course.
I love that. Thank you.
You are a young lady.
Oh, yes, I am at times.
No, all the time, every
All the
day.
time. I claim it all the time.
So you want me to call you Celestine or Celeste?
Celeste. Celestine is my legal name, but somehow my name changed to Celeste. So everyone
Okay.
knows me by Celeste.
Okay. Well, Celeste is just, I thank you so much for our friendship and our
Amen.
relationship. And I am just so happy that we connected while we were in Africa. Did you get sick while we were there?
Not two, not
Okay.
two. I was the
Okay.
one who had the medicine because there are a lot of people were, having digestive problems. So I had some medicine, but when I got sick when I came home.
Oh, okay. I didn't get
Mhm.
sick at all. No.
Oh yeah, I got sick,
No,
really sick.
yeah, I didn't get sick at all.
But
And
you know what? I had not a hard time, but that last year I did a lot of traveling. And
okay.
so I decided this year I'm not going to do all that because the tour was wonderful and we can agree on that, but it
Mhm.
was very rigorous. It
It
was.
was rigorous.
It was. It was.
Yeah,
But it
it
was
was.
beautiful. We learned
It was
so much.
beautiful. You're right.
Mhm.
It's and I really would like anyone who is watching or listening, if you get a chance, you must take a trip to Africa.
Must. Must.
Wherever,
Must.
if it's, we went to Senegal and Ghana,
Correct.
but wherever you can go, because it's a beautiful country, a beautiful trip. And as I said, she got a little sick later afterwards. I didn't get sick and I gained weight. Cause the food was so good. So Celeste, you are what I labeled you as a women's growth coach.
Right. That's right.
So, but before you became a women's growth coach, you worked for the airlines.
Correct.
What did you do?
I worked there as a sales agent. I worked with international travel. I had a wonderful career with the airlines. And then in the 80s, when things started changing, um, sometimes we plan our lives, our own lives. We know which way direction that we want to go in. And in the 80s, there was a lot of chaos going on in the airline industry. and I had to change direction. Um, there was a lot of mergers. Some of the airlines that were in existence then no longer exist. But I had
Mhm.
a wonderful career with the airlines.
Okay.
Learned a lot too.
What is it a sales agent do?
Well, we handled group travel to international destinations, and I usually book those. Sometimes it would be individuals that I work with. I also help with our sales agent when going out to visit different travel agencies to promote different tours,
Mhm.
just to promote our product.
Oh,
And I did that for let's see, 32 years.
oh wow.
Mhm. I
Okay.
never thought that I would, I just never thought that I would never be working for the airlines. But again, that was one of the pinpoints in my life that I had to say, okay, it's time to change direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what made you become a women's growth coach? And Maxine Walker says, "Hello, everyone. Hello, Maxine Walker."
What put me in that direction basically was my life story. Uh,
Okay.
I, I got married at a very young age. I was only 20, so I didn't know anything. Um, I didn't. And my mom and dad, they basically took care of everything. My mom, I had her as a role model, and she was a stay-at-home mom, and she took care of the home, and I just wasn't prepared and didn't have the skills. Now, don't laugh at this, Dr. Jan. When I got married, I didn't even know how to make coffee.
Okay.
I had to figure out. I'm like, well, uh, do I put instant coffee, of course? Do I put the water in first? Do I put the coffee in first? I would just stand there like, well, what is that? Then I would go shopping. I didn't know what a chicken was. I knew what a chicken was, but the sign said poultry, and I'm like, hmm. So I was I'll just say I was a child bride. And I really was a child bride. Um, so the my ex-husband, he and we were from the same state, so we had a lot of things in common. We went to the same college, um you know but he too was young, and he too had not had too much. Well, he had had some experience in the world, but we marriage to me is a discovery.
Okay.
Life is a discovery. And
Mhm.
sometimes when we think that we've reached the pinnacle of who we are,
Mhm.
we understand later on that no, there was more growth needed to be more purposeful.
Okay.
Right. And that was what I knew as I made that journey, because, well, first of all, I had three children, and
Mhm.
I also three biological children, and I also had his child from another relationship. I raised my daughter. She's in California now, happily married. And it was just a lot that I had to experience before I decided it's time for me to leave the airlines. A lot of
Okay.
things were going on. I had a daughter in college, her first year in college. I had a son who was getting ready to graduate from high school. And then I had another daughter who wanted to go to the military. She had a baby. She was a single mother, but she couldn't go unless I took guardianship of this baby. So
Oh,
I took guardianship of this baby. And then I had to start moving around with my job. Very, very, very chaotic. I mean, just really stressful. But I learned, and that's what we do. We learn as we go through those challenges, or we should learn. And there's a lot of women that I know that may have been stuck in the same situation that I was at that time. But we as women, we're always faced with some challenges. Home, we're responsible for taking care of the children. We're always the one that has to step up to the plate when there's a family crisis. And that was where I had to take the lead in many of the family chaotic situations. But I came through them. But I always say that whatever God puts on you, we can bear. He said he puts no more on us than we can bear, and we should grow. We either have to grow we should grow physically, If there's a physical need, we should be growing mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And I think my spiritual growth was most important to me because it allowed me to know who I am and discover who I am. So my purpose is to help women because it takes time and it takes patience to discover who you are and be accepting of it. Sometimes we don't know who we are, and sometimes we have to go through different crises and situations and challenges to discover. Now what's sad is sometimes we have to go through those situations a couple of times before we say, okay, you know what, uh, maybe there I should change directions, maybe I should do something different. And that's what I did when I knew that I could no longer work for the airlines. Every time I tried to work, I would get sick. In fact, one time I was off so long, yeah, they had to retrain me. 2 years I had been off, and the first day that I worked, I got sick, and I
Oh,
said, "Oh yeah," the very first day, and I was in a state where I wasn't familiar with, where could I go to a doctor? Where's the nearest hospital? And so I said, you know what, this is it. I cannot do it any longer. I'm going to have to make a decision, which was a decision that was really hard because as a single mother, you know, and as some people, your job is your security.
right.
That was my security. How am I going to make it? I wasn't at a retirement age, but I knew that I could not continue on. I was not at a age where I could collect social security, or I could get my pension and stuff. So that was how that ended up. But you know what, through all those challenges, God was with me. He was with
Okay.
me. I just, I just thank God for the lessons and even the challenges. And when you look back on the things that you go through and you say, did I go through that? And then you look at where you are and you say, my goodness. So all the things that we go through, it's not for us, it's for others. And it's to help others who may be in a similar situation. And I just feel for the women who are just don't know what to do. Grandmothers raising grandchildren, just so many things. And as an educator and being in a urban setting, I've seen a lot of different situations where the students, they come from chaotic homes. It's just a lot of things going on, and they just sometimes come to school just to be safe.
Well,
Uh,
let me, a question just came in here.
mm,
Uh, and the question is, what is the best advice? So we're going to go all the way back to when
okay, go ahead.
it says, what is the best advice you would give to your 20-year-old self if you could go back?
First, I would spend more time with myself. And
Okay.
first, I would not be dependent on others to lead me. But
Okay.
that takes time. Some people have
Okay.
that inner strength, but I didn't have it because remember now, I was a child bride and I really didn't have that much worldly experience. So I really had to rely on other people taking what the advice that they gave me. But as I grew, I learned how to pray and ask God to lead me. And I had a lot of resilience. I did. Sometimes we don't think that we have the strength, or we don't have the skills to be able to make moves in our lives. But as a young girl, or young person, or whoever it is, I would say, you know what? Find yourself first. Some young people, they do know what they want to do. They really do. But
But let me ask you, Celeste,
what?
how, if you're in your 20s, how do you find yourself?
Keep living, keep living. But I mean, I would say pray. I would say to a young person, pray.
Okay.
Um, I know there was a young lady because I was in an MBA program, and there was a young lady who had just graduated from college. Now, I thought to myself, now a person, maybe a student who was going into law, or maybe going into the medical field, they have a pretty good knowledge of where they want to go. But
Uh-huh.
basically, when you're that age, you don't know where you should go. I just think they need to take the time, pray, and walk in faith. Walk, because this our lives is a faith walk. Walk in faith and try to talk with someone who can mentor you, can help you understand what life is about. And if you're looking, if it's about a career, you would take the steps necessary. Don't just sit back idly by and just wait for it to drop in your head. You do what you have to do to find out what your purpose is and where you and how to get where you want to go in life. And
So,
all and speak with your relative. I mean, someone I call who has wisdom. You know,
okay.
yeah, because young people. Well, I just know me. I was a mess. I
I
was.
think a lot of us women can look back and over our lives, and yes, and we can say, you know what, I was a mess, you know, uh, especially when you are young and you think you know everything, and you look back, like now you can look back and say, like you said earlier, did I actually do that?
Mhm.
Did what was I thinking?
Thank you.
And you're right, it's so important for women, young women, and to have a mentor,
Right.
to
I'm
find someone who really would guide them and really look at them and help them to so to speak, find themselves. So you found yourself.
Oh yes, and I had people in my lives too. My
Okay.
my my manager at the airlines where I work with, he saw the potential in me that I didn't see in myself.
Okay.
And because I had my ex-husband was a good provider, and I really wasn't worried financially. I really didn't go to work that much. Much time. I think one year I only worked 8 days out of the whole year because I knew that I didn't have to worry about it. Things were going to be taken care of. And when I did get my divorce, I was so fearful because I had never really taken care of myself. I went from my parents' home to my husband's home. So it was a lot of fear. But what did it say? God didn't give us a spirit of fear, He gave us a sound mind. So if we have the inclination that I don't know this, maybe I need to meet some, well, maybe I need to talk with someone that may be able to give me some wisdom, give me some
Hmm.
advice.
Hmm.
Um, and that was it. And my mom, she was kind of overprotected. So I believe a lot of that, carried over into me being a young bride, not knowing anything. The first time when I got married, I called my mother because at that time, to have a telephone, that was like a luxury. And I called my mom and told her that, we had arrived safely. And she said, well, when you're ready to come home, just let me know and I'll send you the bus fare.
Good grief.
I know it.
Did
I
she? Okay? When you told her you wanted to get married, what did she say?
Oh, she was hurt. She was really hurt, and I thought, my ex-husband, he was a good provider and he had such good leadership qualities. This is a man that I need to marry. And he was very protective of me, very protective of me. Um, and I thought, well, okay. And see, there was something going in the home that wasn't pleasing to me. And
Okay.
sometimes we'll make decisions based on what the
Leave. To leave home.
leave home, leave home. Now there was times I wanted to go home, but now I said, no, I'm gonna stick this marriage out. But
So how long were you married?
15 years,
Oh,
15 years,
really?
15 years. And like I said, my manager, he said to me, he said, Celeste, you need to come to work. You need to come to work. And he allowed me to do things on my job that at that particular time was just unheard of. especially for an African American. He chose me out of the hope because the company that I work for, it was an international airline. So they would choose people in the company to escort tours to international destinations. So they chose me twice because I had those people skills.
Okay.
And they chose me twice. I went to Japan and then I went to Scandinavia.
Oh,
So
wow.
oh yes, I had a lot of opportunities that were given to me working for the airlines. Really did, and those skills have stayed with me. I learned a lot there. Learned a lot. Learned a lot.
So when did you officially, I would say, become a women's growth coach?
Uh,
How did that start?
How did that happen? Well, somehow I kept hearing this voice saying, "Coach, coach, coach." And I'm like, "What is that?" Sometimes we don't know about what's out here in the world. So, of course, with technology the way it is, I get on my little computer and I'm like, "Coach," and I see life coach. I said, maybe that's what God is leading me to. So, I was working. It was something going on, and I met this lady, and you know how you talk to people and you find out different things. And so I made mention of it, and she said, "Oh, I know a friend who did the same thing." So she said, "Give." She gave the friend gave me her name, and I called her, and she told me who she had. Who she trained under. So I called the lady. I'll never forget. And I called her and I told her that I was interested in being a coach. And she said, well, she has a program and she wanted me to come. Now, I couldn't afford it at that time because like I said, when I retired, I was not financially able. And I think I had finished, I can't remember. Uh, I had finished because I have like 3 degrees. And I think I had finished my second degree.
Mhm.
And I have an MBA. So I figured I could do that and work with some people in the company, help the company, help them personally. And so this lady, she said to me, she said, Celeste, uh, do you think you would be able to, you know, come to my training session? Now, like I said, wasn't not financially able. So I'm not the type of person that will try to manipulate people. I don't believe in that. I believe that you should be honest with people. And I told her that I could not afford it. So she said to me, she said, you know what? Because we had to do role plays in
Mhm.
the training. And
Mhm.
she said, I need you because we have to have an even number of people. And all you have to do is pay for the certificate, pay for, what I needed.
Mhm.
So, see, those are the stories that when you get on the path to where God has planned for you, there's going to be people in your life and situations in your life that's going to lead you to where He has planned for you to go. Because remember what Jeremiah 29:11 said, I have plans for you. I have a purpose for you. I plan not to harm you, to give you hope in a future. So when we believe that, you know, we can trust and we can see God's hand along the way. And remember the book that I was sharing with you?
Mhm.
You see God's ordering your steps and you know, okay, I'm on the right path. This is where I should be doing, and this is what I need to do. And then that's how I became a life coach. Uh, at my church, we did a program called Search for Significance. I love that program. I took it myself about 20 years ago. Again, I learned about myself because
Oh.
oh yeah, like we should be learning about ourselves every day. Why did I respond like that? Well, we should look at ourselves, look inward first to see what we did, or what we should have done, or how we could have did it better. And so the program, I took this program, oh God, it's a long, long time ago, but it helped me understand who I am, uh, where I got my significance from. There was 4 places where in this program where you get your significance from. It's you either a performance addict, an approval addict, shame, or punishment. So when I did it at my church, I just did the performance addict and the approval addict. Now, I wasn't an approval addict, but I was a performance addict.
Now,
Now,
what is that? You say a performance addict?
addict, right.
Really?
I get it's not that what other people can say to me is how much I get. Now, some of the hindrance is being a perfectionist.
Okay.
Oh, okay. And what kind of what I learned from that was I wrote a well, I wasn't in school. I wasn't an A minus person. I was an A person.
Okay.
So if I got an A minus, I was mad.
Oh,
I was a little
okay.
upset. So I was talking to my friend, and she said to me, she said, Celeste, you know what? Sometimes people will judge you subjectively and not objectively. Remember, and especially if you're writing a paper. And so and then, you know what? And as I was vacillating over it, I heard the Lord speak to me, and He said, when you do the best that you can, that's all I ask you to do. But we get our little whoever we try to be or want to be or whatever. Uh, but that taught me a lesson uh, that as long as I do the best that I can, that's all God is asking me to do. So I realize now I'm not perfect. I cannot keep a perfect house. Like right now, I don't even want to talk about it.
So, are you still a performance addict?
Sometimes I am. I like things
Okay.
a certain way, and I like to do them a certain way.
So,
But
and what was the second one? You
the
said,
other was approval addict. It's
and
not
how,
that I want to prove something to someone else. It's me. I'm the one that has to have it just right. And another thing, I was working on something, and I said, I'm just tired. I've done the best that I can, and I heard the Spirit of the Lord say to me, "That's all I asked of you." For you to do the best you can. So, because we as women, sometimes we build our own selves up, but God says, you're a little bit big headed now. You're gonna have to come down a little bit.
so in your coaching,
Mhm.
um, I think you said something earlier, now, about being, I don't know if you're in the school system or something like that.
Oh yeah, I'm a special ed teacher. I'm a licensed special ed teacher.
Oh, you teach special ed too.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
yeah, oh yeah.
I am
Um,
a retired special
I
ed
know it.
teacher.
I know it.
Yeah. Wow.
I know. Well,
So,
when I retired from that, people say, "Well, how many times you retired?" I said, "I don't know. I don't know. I've lost track."
so where
But
do you so where do you get your clients from? Your coaching?
just meeting people. I
Okay.
went to an event not too long ago, and I sit with my friends, but they said, "Celeste, your table is over here." So I met these ladies, and we got to talking. I love meeting people. I love meeting people, and so find out um, that she works for this community center. It's associated with the schools. It's affiliated with this school district here. And so recently I sent a proposal because she says that they need people to help women that, is a very low income area. And I said to myself, "Ooh, those are the type of people that I love. I love
Okay.
meeting people, who said, they feel that they can't go any further. I
Okay.
love that. I love to help women who just feel that they have no purpose, that they're stuck in whatever they're going through. Some of them have been on drugs, some of them have been incarcerated. I just love meeting those people and helping them, as I said, dig deep for their purpose and understand that God did not allow the things to happen to them and for them to still be here. There's still there's still time in their life. There's still things that they can do. Um, and a lot of them are wounded. Once I did a program, and you know, and the people would share with me different things. And I thought about it. I said, you know what, they must feel very safe in here to be able to share some of the things that they shared with me. And that's one thing as a coach, you have to, that they have to be safe to be able to open up to you, to be real. And I you know what, I thank God that God has given me that gift of empathy, and to be able to look at people not as from the outside, but see what's on the inside of them, and be able to minister to that part of them, that inside, to know what they need. um, they need that. They need encouragement. Some people never had it. I may have had uh, a good family,
For
life.
some people, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay,
They
another question came in here. Okay, what is the most challenging situation that you have encountered with your clients?
um, not being truthful.
Oh,
Not
really?
being true. Oh
Truly?
yeah, because sometimes it's difficult for people to face themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes people, because like I said, even though my purpose is to provide a safe environment where they're be able to open up and share with me, and then sometimes they come with a hidden agenda. Sometimes they come with their own mind made up. Because remember now, we have a belief system that we have within us, and sometimes we come against that belief system.
So how do you know that they're not telling you the truth?
Because you can tell by their responses. if
Okay.
they're if they're not open up, are they resistant? Oh yeah. uh, there was one lady that she was taught not to share things from the home. That that happens a lot with children. The parents said, don't you tell nothing that goes on in this house.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're not open. If they're, you can tell when people are not open. You know that,
Yeah.
Dr. Jan. You can
Yeah.
tell when people are not just open. And then maybe they may feel that, um, maybe this is just something I want to see about. I'm going to try this out.
Or they might feel that you're going to judge them.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah. Wow. So
Mhm.
how do you break through that? When someone comes to you and you can tell they're kind of reluctant to share, and but you know that they need what you have to offer. They need your service. How
That's
do you break through?
that's the relationship.
Okay.
That's the relationship. If you have the opportunity, if they're willing and want to, you build that relationship so that they can trust you.
Okay.
But I have a friend to me, she says, Celeste, you can get people to tell. She said, you can get people to tell everything. And I said, I guess I can. I don't know. They start sharing with me different things. I'll meet people on the plane and they'll share their whole life. And I guess because I'm the type of person that love to hear people,
Yeah.
tell me their story. Tell me your story. And they'll just open up and start telling me things.
Wow. I guess you probably hear stuff that you like. What? That's too much information. Or
Well, you know what?
you know.
Surprisingly, to me, it's just interesting. I never try to judge people because you know what? We all have some baggage in our lives. So, I never try to judge people. I try to look at them in the way God looks at them. Because we're all flawed. So, you know, but it's just that relationship building. Even my students. The first time I started working at this behavior school, a friend of mine, she was the principal there and she needed teachers. So our other friend called me up and said, so and so needs some teachers. So I called her up. Let me tell you how badly teachers are needed.
Oh, I know.
Okay, I'm up here filling out the application online.
Hmm.
Before I even finished the application, they were calling me. I had not even hit that button. They were calling me. This was like on a Friday at 1 o'clock. They were sending me the contract.
Wow.
Oh yeah, teachers are leaving the profession. It is so sad. It is so sad. Um, I grew up in my generation. Our teachers were the ones, especially being African American and growing up in the South. They were the ones that modeled what we wanted to be.
Yeah.
Right? They
Which is why I became a teacher.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Uh, uh-huh. Just watching them, and well, the ones that I had were so supportive,
oh, yeah.
and so you look at them, their role, they were, I don't
The
know if they
role models.
they were role models.
They were role models. And
Yeah,
we believed in education. They believed in education and
yeah,
they imparted that to us.
yeah,
Yeah, to be education because we knew that the only way we were going to go up was with education.
right.
That was the only thing we knew. And when I talk to my students about their future, I'll have my students even like in the 12-year-old. Okay, you're gonna write a vision for your life because you know what scripture says, without a vision, a man will perish. So I have my students, we talk about life, even I don't care how young they are. Now I had one student, I had him when he was 5, and then a lot of things happened. He went into the system, so he came back at where I was working at the behavior school because most of these kids had behaviors. They couldn't go to the regular schools, so they had to go to these behavior schools. And the principal told me because she and I had worked together, and she knew that I had knew the history of this kid, and so he came back there, very smart too, and I said to him, "Okay, now tell me what's your life going to be." He tells me what his life is going to be. He's going to have a wife. He's going to have children. He's going to have a good job. And he said once, he said, and I'm not letting any men near my daughter. So that told me something had happened.
Yes.
Something had happened. Yeah. And
Wow.
so, and then I had another student, very, very bright. And I said to him, I said, now let me tell you this, because sometimes they look at my gray hair and they call me grandma. Grandma, tell me about this. One asked me, Miss Noah, how did you get so old? I told him, I said, well, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't, I don't do drugs, and I live a pretty drama-free life. And I said, and plus that, I know God, and so
Okay.
that was that broke down those any barriers. These kids come from some really
Yeah.
chaotic situations.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, sometimes, like I said, sometimes school is the only safe place. And if they know people care for them
Yeah.
and love them, you can get them. You can do much better. You can do
Yeah.
much better with them.
So now you told me about a couple of books
Oh,
that I inspire you. So the first one here is More Than a Bird.
okay, more than a bird.
Okay, so tell me, why does this book inspire you?
Because the story is a true life story, and it was written by this lady. You don't have the book, but
Yeah,
her name is
yeah,
Liz
her name
Huntley.
is Liz Huntley. Yeah.
Liz Huntley. And I first met Liz. Well, I actually didn't meet her. We were having our beginning of the year school uh, program where all the educators come together. We may have a guest speaker. So when I saw her, she was getting out of the car when I was getting out of my car. She had the little roller bag, and I thought, oh my God, here's the school's attorney. We're going to have to listen to the laws because regardless of where you work, you have to know the policies and you have to know what the laws are saying. And so found out she was a guest speaker. So she started talking about her life. At age 5, her mom took she and her little sister took her and her little sister over to their grandmother. Then she went back and took her other 3 kids to their respective grandmothers. Then the mother went home and committed suicide.
Ooh,
That
jeez.
was how she introduced the book. And she lived in the projects with the grandmother. There was an uncle that abused her starting at an early age, but the grandmother sent her to pre-K, and she learned how to read there. So when she went to first grade, she went to the school that she had to take the bus. Well, the grandmother didn't go with her, but she went on the bus by herself. So when she got to the school, when she arrived there, she had to find out where her class was. So she, knowing how to read, she went over there and she looked on this list. She went down the list, she found her name and found the room. And so when she got there to the teacher asked her, well, how did you get here? She said, I rode the bus. She said, well, how did you know where to go? She said, I looked on the list and I read. And the teacher said to her, come on in, you're going to be one of my best students. And that was the way it went on and on and on. Even in all the turmoil that was going on, she said there was always someone there to help her financially, to guide her, to encourage her. And, with being in a community, the people knew that she was really smart. So they really rallied around and helped her raise money. And eventually she graduated from high school as the valedictorian. Um, she went on to become a lawyer, and now she's married.
Okay.
It was a lot for a child that age.
So yeah, so that's a very inspirational journey, and I can see what you're saying about you never know, excuse me, what anyone has gone through. I know my husband said something. You never know how far a person has come to get
Right.
to where
They
you
are
know
now.
you are now. And then it was this other book
Oh,
you said that inspires you. It's called Tearful Surrender, Joyful Release.
mm-hmm.
Journey from Brokenness to Breakthrough. And
Right.
it's by Marquita
Uh-huh.
Baxter.
Bachelor. She is a personal friend of mine.
Oh,
And
okay.
I met her. She and her husband joined my church. And so we became friends. And what had happened, telling me, sharing with me, she was, I think she was like in her late 40s before she met her husband. She was single, she was pretty successful. And so she married her husband, who was an attorney at that time. And then they started their own company as, wait a minute, what's that word? It just left me. Oh, professional developers,
Oh,
okay, consultants.
okay.
Okay. So the husband, that they hadn't been married that long, and the next thing you know, the husband was ill, very sick, and because he wasn't able to work, they weren't able to financially continue on. They had to make some changes in their life, and with her, she here she is thinking, okay, I'm married, I have this wonderful husband, blah 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 blah, and then he gets sick, and here she is, she's used to being the one who helped the family. Now she has to ask for help. Financially, they were really struggling. And the husband eventually passed. But
Okay.
she shares in her book, that's why it's called Journey from Brokenness, because sometimes we have to be broken. Like, what did I say? Sometimes we get the big head about ourselves. Okay. We're used to doing things our way. The song said, I did it my way. Well, sometimes that way is not the right way. And sometimes God has to bring us down a little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit. Sometimes He only leaves the stub.
Okay.
Sometimes there's only the stub, but we do have an opportunity to grow again. To grow again. Like when I'll tell people, we've been through the fire, but at least when we came out, we didn't smell like smoke. You know,
Okay.
right. Sometimes people say, you went through that? When I tell people there was a time in my life when I had $1, that was my budget for food a day. There was a time when I was homeless, homeless. So, you look at people and you think, oh, but I never forget where I came from. Because I was here and then I had to go down here. God had to show me it's not about you, sis. It's not about you. It's about you becoming aligned to who I want you to be. Yes.
So Celeste,
Tell me.
I just want to say this because we kind of running out of time. Time goes so fast.
I know, especially when we
It,
get to
go,
talking.
it goes so fast. So when you look at your journey,
Tell me.
from, let's say, when we talk about your journey, we talk about from the time you were 20
Oh
to
yeah.
however you are now, but and you look at that journey, bottom line, bottom line, what did that journey teach you? And what does that journey, or can that journey teach women who are watching and listening?
Okay. I'm going to use a scripture. It says, lean not to your own understanding.
All right.
In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path.
Excellent. And you are very, 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 very true. Very true. Because, like you said earlier, sometimes we think we know, we get a big head and we think, oh,
Mhm.
I know what I do.
Oh yeah, I know how to do this.
I know how to do that. And when you listen, well, I always say everybody's got a gift.
Oh
Everybody
yeah,
has
everyone.
a spiritual gift.
Right, we
It's
do.
something, and as you journey through life, you there's certain threads, I would say, and certain dots, you know, and when you look at those threads and you look at those dots and you connect them through your journey, that's when you find out exactly what you are meant to be, who you're
Correct,
meant to be.
correct,
Amen.
correct. Amen, amen.
Who you're meant to be, and with you listening, you found through your journey, and we go through journeys, like you say. Sometimes he has to break us.
Oh yes.
Go through these journeys, and it's
Mhm.
a learning journey
Experience.
where we can help someone else. It's not always for us. It's for us,
Correct.
yes, but it's usually for somebody to help somebody else.
You know what I enjoy is that we've been given the opportunity to reflect.
Yeah.
Yes. It's not as though we're just staying in the past, but we can reflect and we can use it as a learning experience. We can dissect it and say, well, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Not maybe, I shouldn't have done it. Okay. Oh, I forgot to add, I always, when I use that scripture about lean not to your own understanding, the first part is trust in the Lord with all your might.
Okay.
Then lean not on your own understanding. Acknowledge him and he will direct your path. And when we look back on our lives, like the young lady who wrote this book, More Than Enough,
Mm-hmm.
she saw in her life how God had ordered her steps. Because if we're going in the direction that he's ordained for us, then we're on the right path. But when we decide to do it our way, I thought,
We
Celeste,
mess up.
we mess up big
Put it like that.
time.
I
Big
just put it
time.
like that. We
Mess
mess up.
up, mess
We mess
up. I'm like,
up.
God, did I do that?
Yes, we
Oh my
mess.
God. And then those lessons can really be devastating. It was
Yes.
it was really devastating for me, especially when I was used to being able to take care of myself and take care of my kids and live in a nice neighborhood and drive a nice car. I'm telling you, all that was left was a stub. But he said, "You shall grow again."
All right. But
Mm.
Celeste, you have been so inspirational. And I really hope that my listeners and my viewers, that they have really taken what you have said and use what you said,
Right,
uh,
right,
uh, for their own journeys
right.
in their lives, and that no matter what you're going through, but you're going to go through. Number
Hmm.
one. And number two, what you're going through is usually to help someone else.
It is. That's why we go through it.
That's why
It
we go
says,
through
mhm.
it.
That's why it said all things work together, and those all things are not always good things.
And that's very true. But
Mhm.
Celeste, we have run out of time.
We did.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. And so I really want to thank you for being my guest,
Thank you.
because it's very inspirational to me, and to think, whatever the heck I'm going through or have gone through is
Hmm.
for a reason.
It's for a reason.
And so, you are where you are in where are you?
Ohio. I'm in
You're in
Ohio.
Ohio.
Hmm.
Well, I want you to have a beautiful, blessed rest of your evening in Ohio,
Yes, I will.
and we'll speak again.
Oh, we
You
will.
People, look. She's not just my guest. I mean, we have formed a relationship. We have formed a friendship. Yes. So thank you so much, Celeste.
Well, thank you for asking me. Thank you, Dr. Jane and Jan. I mean, it wasn't as though I hesitated. I mean,
No, you didn't.
no, I mean, this is what I do. And when you're with what you're doing, what God has ordained you to do, it's just natural.
It is.
It
It is.
is. It's
It is.
natural.
So okay. So I
Okay.
we will talk. We will
All right.
definitely talk, so you can keep inspiring me.
Well, you listen, we need each other. Love you, Dr. Jan.
All righty. You take
Okay.
care.
Thank you. And
All
thank you
right.
for all those people who did tune in. And I hope I did help them a lot.
I'm sure that you did.
Did. Okay. Thank
All
you.
righty. Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you, babe. Bye bye.
Wow, this has been great. Very inspirational and motivational, and just to let you know, like, whatever the heck that you going through, with your relationships, it could be finances or divorces or whatever, a loss of jobs, even, which we know is a lot that's happening right now. But that your journey is for you, but your journey is also about someone else and how to help someone else. So let's do just a little bit before we go. Well, most of you know that I am a relationship communications coach, and my passion is helping women navigate the challenges in the adult daughter aging mother relationship. So if you feel that you'd like to have a conversation with me, and just see if you need me as your coach to help you to get over the hurdles and to have a more loving, harmonious relationship with your adult daughter, or your and or your mom, you can contact me at, and I got to find it, right? I'm so busy listening to her, listening to Celeste, I forgot to put anything in here about me. But anyway, you can reach me at relationshipmatterstv@gmail.com. And we can have a conversation, half an hour conversation. And I will not charge you on whether or not I can really help you and assist you in having a more loving, harmonious relationship with your adult daughter or your mom. Also, if you would like to be a guest on Relationship Matters TV, or you know someone who would make a great guest, you can email me at relationshipmatterstv@gmail.com. And Maxine Walker reminding us this is Women's, she says, welcome to Women's Month. I know that there are a lot of you who could be on my show this month because you're doing some wonderful, wonderful things with women. So tune in next week because next Thursday, I have a guest on the show that you really want to listen to and watch. So I will see you again next week. Remember, there are all kinds of relationships. There are all kinds of relationship matters, and life is about relationships. So have a beautiful, blessed morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. It's Dr. Jan Fortman. I will see you again next week. Take care. Bye bye. And thank you all for watching, for listening. I love all of you. All righty. Bye bye.